Keepsakes are essential to make your characters even more powerful. However, they are much more scarce to obtain as we don't get as many keepsake tickets as we do black tickets. So then, who and when should I pull my keepsake tickets for? Today I will be going through which keepsakes you should be pulling for, as well as my personal preferences and suggestions. So the main reason why I made this video is that I realized that free-to-play players can receive a maximum of 18 keepsake tickets per month, meaning that it will take 4 months to get enough tickets to pull for a keepsake, being 70. However, for 6 of these tickets you'll need to spend 3,776 gems, which I only recommend to buy near the end of the month so that you can clarify if you will have enough gems to purchase the 72 black tickets for the next month. During the lssr era, it is possible to get up to 3 keepsakes if you save your gems effectively. However, pulling for 2 keepsakes is more than enough, as you can save your black tickets for the SSR Plus era later on. So I created a tier list on how good each keepsake is for all the lssr characters. Those in the don't bother category, don't waste your precious money on these unless you're an absolute whale. Those in the good category are good for certain situations, but only whales should be pulling for these if they want to. Those in the great category can be very useful for certain situations throughout the rest of this year. Watchdog Man's keepsake allows you to seal 3 energy, which is a great counter for Girl lineups, only allowing them to ult once at the very beginning of each battle. Genesis keepsake is great to maximize his DPS during Girl meta, absolutely melting your opponents in PvP. And Girl's keepsake will allow you to seal your enemy's max health even further, being a good counter against Genos players as it will reduce his damage output. However, I would only pull these keepsakes if you have the funds to, so only whales and mid spenders can pull for these keepsakes. And finally, those in the amazing category are the must-haves. However, for free-to-play players, you can only choose up to 3 of the following keepsakes. So now I am going to go in depth into each and every one of these keepsakes and display their benefits and how they fit certain playstyles. So first up we have RMG's keepsake. Having her keepsake will allow her ultimate attack to gain 70% lifesteal to herself for 2 turns. She will also attack a single back row enemy for 600% of her attack. Now the big reason why her keepsake is important is that this will allow access in obtaining her 5-star awakening. So when she's hit by non-crit damage, she'll reduce the damage taken by 45%. And starting from turn 1, she'll deal follow-up damage on the lowest HP enemy every time an ally attacks, dealing 100% of her attack and up to 5 times per round. Her 5-star awakening makes her cracked for both PvP and PvE, so I highly recommend to pull for a keepsake. So for our next keepsake, we have ATT's keepsake. Having her keepsake will allow her ultimate attack to deal 180% of her attack to all enemies. She will also inflict the force field debuff for 2 turns, which will also deal 220% of her attack on top of that. Her keepsake will allow you to obtain her 5-star awakening, which when she's hit by non-crit damage, she'll reduce the damage taken by 40%. She will also lifesteal for 100% of dot damage she's dealt onto the enemies, making her great for survivability. Her massive dot DPS is what will make her absolutely dominate in PvP, so I also highly recommend to pull for a keepsake. So normally you would want to pull 1 keepsake between RMG and ATT, since you'll have enough for only one of them, so I'll provide the benefits for choosing either keepsake. For RMG, she's the best single target DPS unit until Sonic V2 comes out, which should be in November. She'll be great for PvP, where she'll slightly fall off when Bomb comes out, which her meta in PvP will last for a bit longer than 3 months. She'll be amazing for PvE, as her meta will basically be forever, since you'll always need a strong DPS unit for bosses and events. Her keepsake will allow her to unlock her 5-star awakening, which is super OP during her debut. And she'll be much cheaper to invest in than ATT, being more friendly for free-to-play players. For ATT, she's the best AoE DPS unit once Bomb comes out, which should be in October. She'll be amazing for PvP as she'll dominate in Live Clash and Club Wars. Her PvP meta will only last for about 6 months until SSR Plus Child Emperor comes out, being in the beginning of 2024. She'll be good for PvE as an AoE attacker. Her keepsake will allow her to unlock her 5-star awakening, where she'll hit like a nuke over time. And she'll synergize very well with Bomb's core, filling the Esper slot as well as being a great counter against Bomb's shields. So why should I pull one or the other? RMG is much better during Guru meta, whereas ATT is much better during Bomb meta, so you'll be playing the long game if you decide to go for ATT's Keep Safe. More importantly, pull for RMG's Keep Safe if you prefer PvE, which most free-to-play players should be prioritizing, whereas pull for ATT's Keep Safe if you prefer PvP. Now we have our second phase of units, involving Sonic V2 and Gale Wind. Starting off with Sonic, his Keep Safe will allow him to attack a single back row enemy for 750% of his attack. He'll deal an additional 80% off his enemy's max HP as charge up damage, which can maximize his damage potential up to 800% of his attack. He will also constantly heal for 60% of the damage he dealt for the first round. His Keep Safe will allow you to obtain his 5-star awakening, which will increase his own speed by 20% at the start of the battle. If he is limit breaked to 5 stars, he will increase the speed of his allies in the same row by 95% of his speed. He will also provide tenacity shields for his entire row, based on 30% of his max HP. Having Sonic's Keep Safe will make him a very strong attacking and supportive unit, as he can play both roles even more effectively, so this is why I recommend to pull for his Keep Safe. And now for his counterpart, we have Gale Wind. His Keep Safe will allow him to use 950 energy points to activate his ultimate attack. His ult attacks in a cross-shape formation, dealing 260% off his attack. In the first 2 rounds, he will inflict 3 random enemies hit by his ult with stun, stunning half of your opponent's lineup. His Keep Safe will allow you to obtain his 5-star awakening, which when he is hit by non-crit damage, he'll reduce the damage taken by 50%. After any unit takes action, he will also deal follow-up damage towards the enemy with the highest attack, dealing 120% of his attack and up to 5 times per round. Having Gale's Keep Safe makes him very powerful in both PvP and PvE, where stunning half of your opponent's lineup can completely change the entire battle. So this is why I also recommend to pull for his Keep Safe. So normally, you would want to pull one Keep Safe between Sonic and Gale Wind, since you'll have enough for only one of them. So I'll provide the benefits for choosing either Keep Safe. For Sonic, he's the best single target DPS unit until SSR plus Boros comes out, which should be during March 2024. He'll be amazing for both PvP and PvE throughout the rest of the game, as he becomes a great support unit for SSR plus units, due to his speed boosts and tenacity buffs. His Keep Safe will allow him to deal up to 800% of his attack, which will be the highest we'll ever see before SSR plus Boros comes out. And he synergizes very well in SSR plus lineups. For Gale Wind, he'll be able to stun half of the entire enemy's team, which will be amazing for both PvP and PvE for a very long time. He will be slightly countered once SSR plus Metal Bat comes out, which should be during May 2024. He'll be much cheaper to invest in than Sonic, being more friendly for free-to-play players. His 5-star awakening will allow him to deal follow-up damage 5 times every round, which is amazing. And he also synergizes very well in SSR plus lineups. So why should I pull one or the other? Sonic will be the best single DPS unit for free-to-play until SSR plus Deep Seeking, which should come out in January 2025. This is because SSR plus Boros is considered a unit for whales. Gale Wind will be part of the PvP meta for a very long time, as his stun and follow-up buffs are amazing to have. So most importantly, pull for Sonic's Keep Safe if you prefer PvE, which most free-to-play players should be prioritizing, whereas pull for Gale's Keep Safe if you prefer PvP. This will be a very hard decision to choose for, as they both have longevity during the SSR plus era. Before I talk about the summary and who I'll be pulling for, I want to quickly go over what other ways you can get Keep Safes from. The first option is through the claw machine, which happens once a month. This will give you access in obtaining the Keep Safes for those locked as a hero backup stick unit, such as Guru. Don't ever do these if you are a free-to-play player, as they are too expensive. In order to pity, you'll need 1,680 coins, which requires 16,800 gems for. Alternatively, once you do have 1,680 coins from saving up every month, then you can go for it. Another option that is not confirmed is through the backup stick. This feature is currently only possible in the Chinese servers, so not even the Southeast Asian servers. This will be highly unlikely in the global version, since Moontoon loves to nab a lot of money out from everyone. but I'll be saving my bracelets just in case it ever comes into fruition. So to summarize everything up, if you're going to pull for 2 keepsakes, choose between RMG or ATT, and then choose another between Sonic or Gale Wind. This will give you enough tickets to save for SSR Plus units once they come out further in the future. However, if you are going to pull for 3 keepsakes instead, get both RMG and ATT, as you will have enough to get 1 during their debut and 1 during their rerun. However, this is only possible if you have been saving from the very beginning, such as myself, as I currently have 70 tickets as of May. Then, for your 3rd keepsake, choose between Sonic or Gale Wind. Then save the rest of your tickets for the upcoming SSR Plus units. This is only my recommendation, as you can pull for both Sonic and Gale, and none between RMG and ATT, so this is all entirely up to you. So for who I will be personally pulling for is displayed as a blue checkbox in my timeline. I will be pulling for RMG's keepsake during her debut if she comes out first, then ATT's keepsake during her rerun. I will then pull for Gale Wind's keepsake during his rerun. This is because once I limit break Sonic to 5 stars, I'll have access to his speed buff for the whole row regardless, as I want to build him as a support unit rather than a heavy hitter. So that's why I'll be getting Gale's keepsake, as stunning half the field will be super useful. And that's it for today's video. I do want to give a shout out to One Strike Dog, since he was my inspiration in providing these in-depth guides to all of you. He will never be forgotten, and I thank him for everything he's done for the community. I will try my best to follow from his footsteps and provide the monthly character guides for as long as I can. I don't currently get paid from doing YouTube, so let's see how long I'll be doing these guides for. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and feel free to comment down below on any questions about my video or possible future content. Until next time.